Welcome to another episode of Birminology on Lettermen Row. I'm your host, Jeremy Birmingham. Today's guest is Geirean Hatchett, a four-star offensive lineman from Ferndale, Washington, who recently released his top 5 schools list and included Ohio State among them. Geirean has visited the Buckeyes twice in the last year and has always had a good relationship with the staff in Columbus. Now, as he's beginning to narrow down his decision, we talk to him about what comes next in his recruitment. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Birminology on Lettermen Row. Geirean Hatchett, welcome to Birminology on Lettermen Row. You are in Washington, I'm in Ohio, and we have a little time difference, so I appreciate you making it work. You have a rain delay, is that what you said, for a baseball game?
Yeah, I had a baseball game. It was scheduled to be at around 4 o'clock today, and then it got pushed back till 6:30 tonight. So just had a little free time. So
well, here's the deal. For those of you watching at home, the magic of the internet is this isn't going to be aired until like Monday morning, so it's actually Thursday. So we've actually traveled back in time and are now presenting our Lettermen Row readers with a look at what happened in the past, which is pretty amazing.
For sure.
So, Geirean, let's dive into your recruitment. Wednesday night, you released your top 5 schools. I'm hoping that you would be able to walk our listeners and watchers and readers through the top 5, why they made the top 5, and what do you find with each program that you are connected to the most, or why did you put them in that final group?
Yeah, so to start off, my top 5 that I released yesterday was Stanford, Notre Dame, Washington, Ohio State, and Oklahoma. And I really put them in there because I felt like I had the best relationships with the coaches, and those 5 schools were probably the best for me, academic-wise, football-wise, what I was looking for in a program, and like the type of guys also that I would be in the locker room with. That's also really important to me. I mean, don't want to be with guys that have different personalities from me, and I feel like those 5 schools that I visited and hung out with players and coaches and all that, the guys that I met, they've all clicked with me. So, I mean, I feel like those 5 schools are probably the best for me.
Awesome. And, we cover Ohio State here, so I want to dive in. The relationships with Ohio State, you mentioned the relationships with the coaching staff. Obviously, the last time that you were on campus in Columbus, Urban Meyer was the head coach. A lot of things have changed there, but can you maybe talk to people about what hasn't changed as far as your relationship with Ryan Day, Greg Studrara, and the rest of the Buckeye staff?
Yeah, with Coach Stud, my relationship really hasn't changed at all. We're always in constant contact, texting back and forth on the phone. And then with Coach Day, I didn't really have a relationship with him while Urban Meyer was there. But probably a day or two after Coach Meyer announced his retirement, Coach Day immediately texted me and then got on the phone and talked. And we've been talking probably almost every day since. And then he came out to my school back in January. Obviously wasn't allowed to meet face to face with me, but then what he told my coaches and what my coaches relayed with me, I felt really good about it. And then talked to him later that day on the phone with basically what he said to my coaches and all that. So just felt really good about it. So nothing's really changed with my relationships with the coaches there, just besides new relationships and really good relationships.
In recruiting, there's so many times when you hear coach speak and it's hard to kind of differentiate between what's real and what's not. When you hear Ryan Day going into your school and telling your coach, hey, we want this guy, he's a top priority for us, how do you find out, or how do you come to believe it?
I kind of looked at it like, I mean, he's the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, he's not going to travel all the way out to Washington to meet with my coaches and build a relationship with them, and then constantly be building a good relationship with me if he really didn't want me. So, and then same with Stud, like he's not going to want to offer a dude from Washington that they don't think they have a chance at, or if they don't really want a guy from Washington. So I just figured it like that. And with what they've said too, I mean, it seems sincere, and just really feel really good about it.
And you mentioned that they don't go to Washington much. There's only been one Ohio State signee in history, and at least in modern history, recruiting history, from the state of Washington, and that was Archie Griffin's nephew. So it's definitely not a place they go to often, but they do have another 2020 commitment from Washington, G. Scott. Are you close with G at all? Have you guys had any conversations? I mean, how is he trying to help pick up the mantle of recruiter for Ohio State in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, I mean, me and G, we're not extremely close. He lives down in the Seattle area. I'm about an hour and a half north, but every time I'm down there and stuff and we're together, we always talk and all that. And he always talks to me about the Buckeyes, and then I'm sure he's also trying to recruit guys to go there like Savell Smalls or Sam Adams, DJ Rogers, the guys down south too.
What is, for you, how do you decide between 5 schools that are as good football-wise and as good academically as those 5 that you're looking at? I mean, what does it ultimately come down to? Is it feel? Is it relationships? Is it depth chart? Where's the final decision get made?
Lots of it is this personal feel for me, and like you said, relationships too. I mean, if I feel like that place, say it is Ohio State, I feel like is the right place for me, and I have really strong relationship with coaches, and I mean, some players there, some commits there and stuff like that, then that's where I would commit. I mean, it's all really feel and relationships and how I feel around the players and the commits there for me.
I get asked this a lot, so I'm just going to ask you because you're who I'm talking to right now. But is there any sense amongst recruits, and you guys, you've all had that group message for the last year where you've all been involved and talking to one another. Is there any sense that there's guys waiting to see what happens on the field with Ohio State this fall before people fully dive into what Ryan Day's building?
I haven't really gotten the sense of that. I mean, I'm sure there is guys like that, but I feel like it was kind of more of that this year because people weren't sure what was going to happen. I mean, Dwayne Haskins was a first-year starter and all that, so people weren't sure how it was going to go. But I mean, I think after this year, it solidified that some guys feel really good about it. And then obviously with Coach Day going 3-0 as the head coach, when he was the interim head coach, I think it made people feel pretty good about it. So I haven't gotten much sense of anything like that so far. I know that
Ohio State obviously talks to you guys pretty openly about what they're looking for when it comes to numbers in this class, and they want what I can discern is 6 offensive linemen in this 2020 class. They have 4. Is there any sense as an offensive lineman, and one of the handful, and if there's 4 or 5 probably of you guys in that elite top group that they're really pushing for on today. Is there any concern with that number, or do you have conversations with them where they're honest about, evaluations and how things shake out?
I mean, I'm not as concerned about it. I have had conversations with Stud, and when Coach Meyer was there, I also had conversations with him about it, and they said like if they're getting close, they'll let me know, but they definitely want me. So if they think they're really close to full up and I decide to commit, they'll still take me because they really want me.
Well, where do you go from here, Garen? I mean, it's April 15th or something today. That's today. Remember, we're in the future. What happens from here with your top 5? Are you going to take official visits to all 5? Are you going to, cut it down to a smaller number by summer? Or do you have an idea of when you want to make the final call? Where are you at moving forward?
Right now, I'm not 100% sure. I would like to hopefully take a couple official visits in May. I mean, with baseball, it's kind of hard for me to take them in April, so I'd have to take them in May. And then if I feel good about, if I decide that I know I want to go to a certain school, even if I've only taken 1 or 2 official visits, then I think I'll end up pulling the trigger then. So it could be any time from here to July, I would say. But I would like to commit sometime early summer.
You've been to Ohio State twice. The last time you were there was that 3-day visit over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Is there anything left for you that you need to figure out with their staff or with their program that still has you feeling, I don't want to say uncertain, but questions unanswered?
For me, no, not really. I mean, I visited out there last summer for a couple days back in July, and then obviously I was at the Michigan game where they beat Michigan for 3 days, like you said. So I feel like
it did seem like they beat them for 3 straight days. It did. It felt that way.
No, yeah. So I was, like I said, I was out there for 3 days, and then so for me, I don't really feel like there's any questions that I need to have answered or anything. I feel pretty good about their staff and where their program's at. So for me, it'll just, like I said earlier, it'll just be more of a feel thing.
Sure. Do you have any hidden talents? What do you do in your free time? What do you do that people don't know about you? Because in recruiting right now, I think that we all are under this impression that we know everything about recruits and about the people that you guys are. What do people not know about you?
I would like to think I'm a really solid baseball player. I'm a pitcher. I'm leading the league in strikeouts right now with 43 on the mound, and I'm 4-0, I believe. So I like to think I'm a pretty good pitcher. And then
what are you hitting on the radar gun?
Upper 80s, lower 90s right now.
So you're bringing smoke.
Yeah, bringing some heat. I've always had a live arm, so it's and then the past couple of years I've gotten it under control a little bit. So with that velocity and the control, it's pretty dangerous up there.
But nobody's putting you at quarterback yet.
Not yet. I was hoping that our high school would after they saw me pitch, but they decided I was an offensive lineman.
Well, Geirean, I really appreciate you coming on Birminology on Lettermen Row and giving our readers and our watchers here an opportunity to know a little bit more about you. I will reach out to you again sometime in the near future, I'm sure, as we've talked over the last course of the year. So thanks for coming on the show. Good luck in your baseball game if you get one tonight, and hopefully you get back on the bump. And what's the ERA? Because strikeouts are one thing. I was a pitcher in high school, so I'm fascinated by someone your size pitching.
Yeah, no, ERA is pretty low right now. I think it's mid 1.5, 1.7 around there right now.
So you're not giving up much.
Not giving up much. I've only given up maybe 10 hits on the season or so. So it's I'm feeling pretty good up there.
Well, keep it up, man. And again, thanks for coming on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Geirean.